McCarthy is the Republican majority leader there in the U.S. House of Representatives. Congressman, welcome to the Chris Baker Radio Show.
Chris, thanks for having me. I get that question a lot. How can you be a Republican and from California? But I remind people, this is the state that elected Ronald Reagan. So
yes.
Still have a few left.
There's one or two there. Darrell Issa, also another California representative. So they are out there. Well, listen, Congressman, this is a big election coming up on Tuesday. And here we got a big battle going on for the House of Representatives between the great Lee Terry and the great Brad Ashford. And, the campaign has been labeled as ugly and negative, but I can't quite exactly find out where the ugly negative is. Are you hearing that all around the country? It seems like every year during an election cycle, we start hearing about all these negative ad people.
Around you hear that, but what happens is it's really about a contrast. I mean, there is a big difference between Lee Terry and his opponent. One would be, I'm from California. I've watched what Nancy Pelosi did as Speaker, and we don't want people that are going to vote and put her back in power. That's a real contrast. And I've watched Lee Terry take up and fight hard. You know, he's the leader on Keystone Pipeline. This is a guy that's fighting to create jobs. So people think it's negative when you point out the differences between the two. And it's not negative when you look at his opponent supporting good time law. I mean, you don't like that. Nobody wants to see that happen, but that's his philosophical position, and we don't want to empower that further. That's why I'm coming out there this Sunday. We're going to hold a rally at 6 p.m., GOTV rally there in Omaha at the Victory office in Regency.
Now, you're coming out when? Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh,
Sunday,
man.
6
Okay.
p.m. Everybody's out. It's a Get Out the Vote rally. Victory office in Regency, so you could see in real life that there are Republicans in California.
Well, now, here's what I want to know. This is really the question that's on people's minds. The rally's on Sunday, but are you going to come out early to go to the football game?
If I can make it in time between my stops, I will.
I mean, Husker football, my friend. This is it's a delicacy in the world of football out here in the great state of Nebraska. So, all right, I keep hearing
it's a way of life.
It is a way of life. I keep hearing a lot in the media that there are people who are expecting some gigantic Republican landslide. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but if Republicans are able to grow their strength in the House of Representatives and at the same time capture the Senate, is there anything they can do effectively to stop this juggernaut? I'm reading the news today. They're getting ready for executive action on amnesty and a variety of other issues out there. I mean, just capturing the Senate, holding the House, is that going to be enough?
It's never going to be enough until we be able to capture and change what's in the White House. But we can do a great deal. I'll guarantee you that we can do a lot more with having Lee Terry back in a majority in the Senate, because then you've got the purse strings on both sides that you can run through the appropriation process. You can send things to this president's desk. You know, there are 387 bills that have passed the House and sit in the Senate. The President of the United States has only vetoed 2 bills the entire 6 years he's been in office, one in 2009 and one in 2010. Bill Clinton had vetoed 36 bills. That's because he's been protected. Capturing the Senate gives us the opportunity to send the bills all the way to his desk, making a much difference, and gives us more power in changing this country.
We're talking with Kevin McCarthy, Congressman McCarthy from the state of California, also the majority leader in the House of Representatives. Does this mean that we might actually go back to the good old days of, presenting budgets and things like that are kind of the duty of the Congress to do?
Yes. I mean, when you look at this election today, when you listen to people, you feel the anxiety in their voice because they're fearful of what's going to happen in the future because this administration is not competent. I mean, look how they treated our veterans in the VA, spent $2 billion on healthcare.gov and couldn't build a website. Benghazi, the IRS, where's the accountability? And now the Secret Service can't even protect the White House. We're going to get back in, move this country in a new direction. To me, this is a lot like where this country was in 1979. the malaise of this Obama economy, and we're going to have a morning in America if we're able to have a good Tuesday next Tuesday.
Kevin McCarthy with us here on the Chris Baker Radio Show. He's the House Majority Leader. There's a big debate going on right now about whether or not there will actually be not an effort, but would it actually be able to come to fruition that they would be able to get rid of this absurdity known as the Affordable Care Act. In your opinion, Congressman McCarthy, do you think that that can possibly happen, or do you think that we're going to be locked into a nonstop readjustments and making changes and, okay, it didn't happen right this time? Is there any realistic expectation that this thing could be thrown out and replaced?
Well, you still have the president in office for another 2 years, but you can make a lot of changes and still have that debate and that battle to say what type of... We've watched the damage that this Obamacare has done to America. It has changed the 40-hour work week to a 20-hour work week. We could repeal that. Medical device tax, the IPAP. There are so many parts of that that shows this Obamacare will tumble upon itself, but we've got to offer a health care solution that actually empowers the individual and the doctor. And we have plans sitting out there. So I am very, very excited about the opportunity that we can do it.
Kevin McCarthy with us here. He's the House Majority Leader in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, I know I've known this for a long time, but a lot of people don't know, and you mentioned it. The House has actually passed over 387 pieces of legislation, many of them having to do with fixes to health care, many of them having to do with the economy, Keystone Pipeline, a lot of different issues out there. Give our audience an idea of some of the things that are sitting on the desk of one Harry Reid.
Well, the 387 bills, a lot of you would sit there and think, oh, they're all just Republicans because they wouldn't be able to move them. 95% of them at least have one Democrat voting for them. It goes from Keystone. It goes from 40 bills for a jobs package to recreate manufacturing jobs in America. You can sit there. It has a whole energy policy package that, you know what, Lee Terry authored, carried it on the floor, passed the House, had bipartisan, and Harry Reid won't bring it up. It goes into education, where you have 400 votes on the bill. For charter schools, where you have 1 million children sitting in a waiting list that want to have a better opportunity for the future. These are unique things that, one, put this country back to work again, but he continues to hold it. From medical device tax, from 40-hour work week, all of these elements that we've talked about and hoped for, the Senate has been stopping. So you do not want to send somebody else to Congress that's going to vote for Nancy Pelosi, if it's going to stop this momentum. And definitely in the Senate, we want to see a fundamental change. And think about it. When the Democrats controlled the White House with Bill Clinton in those last years, and the Republicans took over the House and Senate, what happened? We reformed welfare. And it didn't happen the first time. We had to send it to them 3 times. And then we balanced the budget and created a surplus. So we have a unique opportunity here, once again, to make that happen.
Now, you think there would be an opportunity, should Lee Terry be sent back to Washington, that you guys would get together and make me the head of the Department of Homeland Security? I'm telling you, I'd be the best guy ever.
Well, we know it would definitely be an improvement. And, you know, that's something we have to look at.
I want to be the head of Homeland Security. That's the job I would like, Congressman.
Well, I will tell you, these agencies need to be reformed. They're legislating. There's too much duplication. They're holding this country back. You know, there's more cash on hand today than at any time in the last 50 years in America. But why are people holding their money? They don't know what their health care premiums are going to be. They don't know what their regulatory costs are going to be or their tax policy. Those are all things we can solve, and it could be the largest stimulus with no government money being borrowed.
Well, I like that. All right, Congressman, thanks a lot. I know you're a very busy guy today, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I do say you should try to sneak in early Saturday so that
I would love
you can go
it.
to the football game.
If I can do it, I'll be there, but I want to invite everybody out. 6 p.m. Sunday, get out the vote rally. I'll be excited to show everybody in person the Republicans in California.
All right, thanks a lot, Congressman.